Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we return for round 15 of the F1 22 My Team Career Mode Season 3 here from the Temple of Speed. Yes, we're at the Italian Grand Prix, of course, the final race of the European leg of the season. Of course, after this we'll be heading out to Singapore and the final few Grand Prix dotted around the globe. But I just want to say quickly a massive thank you to all of you for the continued support on the channel. At the time of recording this, we're less than 1,500 away from 90k. Of course, still the big goal of 100k by the end of the year. If you missed out on the video that went live yesterday from the My Team Career Mode as well, of course, from Zandvoort, would highly recommend going back and checking out. Championship-wise, though, things are definitely still heating up. We come off a double win. I think the first time it's happened on F1 22 there means the gap to Valtteri Bottas now just 38 points at the top of the championship. Hamilton seems to slowly be getting into the swing of things as well. We're just 28 points behind McLaren in the Constructors' race, so there is still a lot to fight for in the second half of this year. Red Bull are still quite a way ahead in the Constructors' Championship, but we have jumped Max Verstappen in the drivers' table, so it's all a little bit jumbled up at the moment. But Monza theoretically isn't going to be a track that suits our car particularly well. Often our car has really been sort of suited towards the more higher downforce circuit, so we've said the last couple of races were going to be damage limitation. They went quite well. Monza, I feel, is really going to be damage limitation, but we can only do what we can do. Let's get into it though. Italian GP weekend. Right, well here we are then, back at the Temple of Speed, the historic, the iconic Monza circuit, of course. So many long straights around this track, of course, like I mentioned. Our car normally pretty good through the higher downforce circuit, so we've pretty much stripped as much wing as we possibly can out of it. Is that is not the line through turn 2 there. Massively overshot through turn 1, picked up the purple score, but yeah, could not maintain the speed. I mean, yeah, I think the key for us this weekend is just being brave through corners such as Ascari and the Alboreto curve. We'll wait and see what we can do through this final corner. Is it going to be enough for a purple score at the end of this first run? 320 points as we get over the line. That is not enough. We'll go again. I mean, we don't need R&D, but it would just be nice. Well, you guys keep asking me to try and push for more purple scores on F1 22, and that's exactly what I've done then. No matter what we do through this final corner, this second run is going to be enough for the purple. As we head out nicely to just avoid the white line for the most part out of that final turn. Would not want to Jarno Opmeer it out of the final corner, and that is going to be purple. Tyre wear program up next. I mean, this is Monza. It's not really going to be too intensive on the tyres. We've just got to be careful through the Lesmos and nice and easy on the brakes. I mean, the brakes are so powerful on F1 22. Just avoid the wheel spin, and yeah, this one should hopefully be quite easy. Down in towards the Alboreto curve once more. We're just on the precipice of the purple score, so just tip it in nice and calm. Let the car roll out of that final corner. That should be enough though. That should be a purple score as we get to the line. There we go. Perfect start to the weekend. Let's see if we can try and emulate this pace when we jump into qualifying. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull. The choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like. Well, nothing quite like takes your mind out of a qualifying session like watching a loading screen for the better part of 3 minutes, but we're ready to go then. Here in Q2 at the Temple of Speed. Like I said, we're going to need a whirly of a lap if we want to see ourselves into Q3 this weekend. We have tried to set up the car a bit more towards race trim, but yeah, it's just not a track that suits our car. It is going to be a tough one. Around in the final corner then of our first run, hopefully getting a little bit of slipstream from one of the Scarlet Ferraris in front of me. Charles Leclerc peels back into the pit lane. 18.6 is definitely a big improvement over our Q1 time, quicker than Charles Leclerc, but it's still only P10. Right, well, less than a minute on the clock. Everyone else on their final Q2 runs, and we're probably going to need a sweat mode lap here in Q2 for the Italian GP. Only really Charles Leclerc behind me, I do believe, is sensibly going to be able to go faster than maybe Nicholas Latifi in his Mercedes can spring a surprise, but yeah, we haven't often seen him into Q3 this year. Let's just sweat it out, try and make sure we improve, and maybe jump a couple of cars. A run like that through the chicane is not going to do me any favours. We're going to have to keep pushing anyway. As we head through the next couple of corners there, will Charles Leclerc be able to go quicker than me? I don't think he has. We have clutched up, I'm pretty certain, and made it into Q3 then here at Monza. We can now lift out then on this set of tyres, only just into Q3. We'll use this set for our first run in that final session, but we are hanging on by a thread. And there we go then, official confirmation. Not really any cars improving at the end of Q3, but we should be able to go quicker than the Alpines still in that final run. Like I said, we're only going to get one fresh set of tyres there, but Hamilton on an 18.3, myself on an 18.6. Both Red Bulls in the 17s there, so at least they're quicker than Valtteri Bottas. But yeah, let's get into it though. Q3 here from Monza, it's going to require a miracle. Right, well, like I said, we're going to go out for our first run then on the set of tyres we abandoned our final Q2 run with. Shouldn't theoretically be my fastest lap here, but we're going to need some sweat on the pair of them. Trying to get laps hooked up at Monza. It seems like such an easy track, but you have to be so precise on F1 22 to get the car over the curbs where you need it. And that pretty much immediately down at turn 1 is not going to be the line you wanted. So that might already be a bit of a write-off, but we've got to keep going for the Delta. Still think the problem I've got on F1 22 is believing that the car will stick through some of the higher speed stuff. They're 18.9, it's only good enough somehow quicker than Valtteri. We'll take that. Bottas must have really messed up his first run, and suddenly the pressure is on the flying fin as well. Yeah, something must have gone disastrously for Valtteri Bottas. His current fastest, a 120.2 there, so a long way away from any other car, but we need to try and get this final lap nailed. Top two in the championship are the bottom two here in Q3. Max Verstappen must be eyeing up a good opportunity to score big points, but we need to nail this final Q3 lap. There is still an opportunity to sneak our way up the grid. Nice run out of Ascari there. This has been, apart from the run through the first chicane there, probably one of my best laps on F1 22. Down in towards the final corner. Where are we going to be able to post this car on the grid here at the Italian Grand Prix? We've lacked pace all weekend long up to now. Can we still get a good result on the grid? It's going to be P7th. It's not great, but it'll have to do. Well, there we go, then a very mixed up grid at the end of qualifying, but it is George Russell that puts his Merc on pole position there with a 117.8. Daniel Ricciardo, of course, for Ferrari at their home Grand Prix, joins him on the front row ahead of Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen there, Lando Norris, Zhou Guanyu. 6 cars from 6 different teams inside the top 6 for the Italian GP there. Us, Ocon, Bottas and Sergio Perez round out the top 10. We need to try and keep outscoring Valtteri Bottas, but Verstappen has got a big opportunity this weekend to bring himself back into the title fight. Let's get into it, Italian GP, but first, a quick word from our sponsors. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
It's time for the Italian Grand Prix once again, here at the beloved and iconic Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. With the lowest downforce and drag of any circuit in the season, expect to see drivers making the most of the slipstream effect here today. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest track in Formula One. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6 mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some close action. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position today, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Joe, Mr. Monaco, and Bottas, Perez, Leclerc, Russell, and Yuki Tsunoda, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Felipe Drugovich, and Stroll, Mick Schumacher, Schwartzman, Pierre Gasly, and Daniel Ticktum, Magnussen, Latifi, Hamilton. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
Right, well, here we are then, on the grid, ready here for the Italian GP, and penalties galore has bumped us up to P5 on the grid there, so rather happy with that. A little bit gutted, Lewis Hamilton is starting right at the rear of the field. It would have been nice to him to try and get a good result here today, but you know, maybe he's just taking some penalties, can try and power through the field this afternoon. Of course, have a fresh power unit, or a fresher power unit, in towards the next couple of race weekends. We got Bottas behind us, Zhou Guanyu just in front of us. Let's see what we can do, though. Lando Norris up in P3, but of course the big one, Daniel Ricciardo, Ferrari's home race, up on the pole, and I've got no first gear again because Codemasters. I guess one of the good things about having the gearbox issue is, or glitch even I should say, is the fact you can have a look as to what tyres a lot of cars are using as well there, and it looks like pretty much everyone I've seen so far, oh, that was not where I wanted to go, is on the mediums. Oh, I hate those curbs. Well, look at that, made it just back to our grid slot, just in the nick of time, as we head out of the final corner. Then now got to try and build up a little bit more heat into these tyres. But I mean, we got a good start last weekend out at Zandvoort. I'm not expecting the same here, but we'll give it our best shot nonetheless as we line ourselves up then on the grid here for the Italian GP. I'm intrigued to see how Lando Norris is going to get on there, as pretty much nailed that on the launch. I won't get a good launch mark, but it's cute that you still believe. Esteban Ocon rounding out the grid, Lewis Hamilton alongside him on the back row. Let's see what we can do though here at Monza. Waiting on those 5 red lights. The Italian GP is about to be underway. And it's lights out and away we go, and avoiding the wheel spin for the most part, but still not. Look, where's Charles Leclerc come from? On the run down towards someone there, Charles Leclerc from 9th place is immediately going to try and bolster himself up the order there. We're going to try and look around the outside of Bottas. Plenty of contact through turn 1 there, just with the diffuser of the McLaren. Wrong place at the wrong time for ourselves there. A lot of Constantina and up off the corner, but Charles Leclerc has leapfrogged his way up to P4 there from 8th on the grid. A mega start from the Ferrari driver as George Russell going to try and have a look at the inside of myself. Cold tyres, cold brakes, lap 1. Just overshoot into the corner a little bit. But park on the exit there means we have stayed ahead of the Mercedes man, as Daniel Ricciardo, most critically at the front of the field, still leads the way. I'm sure Max Verstappen will want to be trying to snooker away a victory this weekend there as they head down the back straight. Charles Leclerc already applying pressure to Lando Norris as well. Charles Leclerc might be able to P3 by the end of lap 1 there, as here comes George Russell up the inside, down in towards Ascari there, thinks better of it. We both wanted to try and give each other the room there, and it was kind of a question of both of us going, no, you first, sir. as more yellow flags out. One of the Alfa Romeos appears to have gone round at the start of the GP there. In fact, it might have actually been both Alfa Romeos there, unfortunately, in the middle of our own race at the moment, so we won't take a look back at what happened. But Daniel Ricciardo leads the way then at the end of lap 1. He's got Max Verstappen right behind him there. As you can see, cars weaving this way and that back in towards the first corner, but Ferrari somehow, Charles Leclerc was out in Q2, remember, got moved up the order thanks to penalties, 3 wide through the first corner there, as we take a lot of curves. Zhou Guanyu, Lando Norris, Sergio Perez, everyone trying to get involved as they head out of the first couple of turns, and this is just like NASCAR as we head through the first couple of laps of the Italian GP there. Charles Leclerc already applying pressure right at the front of the field as Lando Norris trying to hang on to every place he possibly can in that Alpine, but it's worked out beautifully for us because it means there is a big train of cars just behind him, and hopefully we're going to be able to try and pick off some of these cars. First up will be young Yuki Tsunoda there, as yeah, don't have the top end speed, but certainly have the sticking power through the corners to hopefully try and launch an attack on the AlphaTauri there. Don't quite have enough top end, but we'll try and force him defensive in towards Ascari round the outside of Yuki Tsunoda, and how on earth have we pulled that one off? Coming towards the end of lap 2, but down to P8, but that was a feisty little move on a feisty driver there as more yellow flags out. I think that's Alex Albon, maybe pulling to the wayside early on in this Grand Prix, so plenty going on in the opening couple of laps here at Monza. Charles Leclerc, new fast lap of the day. There's action everywhere. Well, Sergio Perez then has moved past Lando Norris and up into P4 of the Grand Prix, so I'm sure he's going to be trying to go in hot pursuit of the top 3 there and maybe give Max Verstappen a little bit of a helping hand against those 2 Ferrari cars. But Charles Leclerc is an absolute beast early on in this GP there. Zhou Guanyu just in front of us. He let Bottas by down at the first turn, but yeah, we've, like I said, got to play this race really strategically there, as here goes Lando Norris defending for all his worth again against his former team. Both McLaren cars tucked up behind Lando Norris, of course left the team at the end of last year. As here goes Bottas then on Lando Norris back down towards turn 1. One of the Ferraris has reclaimed the lead of the Grand Prix. There is just action everywhere. There's all Zhou Guanyu a little bit early on the brakes. That was incredibly hot into the corner from ourselves. We do make a tiny bit of contact with Lando Norris, which we get a warning for somehow. No front wing damage that time, but we get away with it and we inherit P7. Oh, Lando Norris kicks out the back end of that Alpine through Ascari here, so surely now we're going to be able to apply even more pressure as we head down in towards the final corner here. Just try and keep the front wing alongside the Alpine. Lando Norris being a bit cheeky there with his defending, if you ask me. Just kind of moving around a little bit, not creating much space for us to race him cleanly. You think he is going to get the DRS off Bottas in front, but it's not going to be particularly powerful for him, as we're going to try and have a look to the inside, back in towards the first braking zone here. Lando Norris again trying to defend, so we will aggressively outbrake the Alpine car there, up into P6 once more of the Grand Prix. But I'm guessing Verstappen's tripped over somewhere, because now both Ferrari cars 1-2 with a bit of breathing room. Well, about to start lap 8 then here in Monza, and we're just sat behind Valtteri Bottas still at the moment. Definitely feels like Ferrari and Red Bull have just got a bit more over our 2 cars this weekend, but we've kind of just saving up some battery, just studying Bottas. Where's he strong, where's he weak around this venue. Never know when it could become more useful later on there. It was just giving him a bit of a kiss through the first corner, but yeah, Ferrari versus Red Bull seems to be the battle today. It's like the real life 2022 championship all over again, except for this one. Ferrari might actually stand a chance, but yeah, of course our big goals still just keep outscoring Bottas week in, week out. We'll see how we can try and get ahead of the McLaren though. Got 20 laps to work away. Going fast out of the Alboreto curve. We're going to just try and see what sort of run we can get on Bottas as we head in towards the first corner there. 220 miles an hour as we head in towards the first turn. Squeeze him to the inside. Late on the brakes. Perhaps a bit too late. As all, we just rattle over the curbing through turn 2. Do not want to do what Verstappen did in 2021 there and launch ourselves over the top of our championship rival. But Bottas will hang firm for now. I love this version of Valtteri Bottas inside F1 22. He's not afraid. He gets his elbows out. I really wish the real Flying Finn would do it just a bit more often, as I think Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc have just tripped over each other a bit going through Ascari. Looks like Daniel Ricciardo has been able to break free at the front of the field there. Verstappen, though, still in hot pursuit, and this might be a way for Bottas and I to get involved with the front runners today. As Charles Leclerc peeling into the pit lane then, so of course coming in for what he's hoping will be an undercut on the rest of these cars, but Bottas now and I in the wheel tracks behind Sergio Perez. Could we try and jump the Mexican? Of course, every point is critical at this stage of the year, and Verstappen is not far up the road. But Monza is a weird little circuit, especially when you've got a straight line speed deficit. That gap doesn't look like much, but it is near impossible to overcome if it's just on raw pace alone. Mark happy with the tyres? I'm not, as I immediately go for a nice little double front lockup. Just snagged them. Whoa! Big moment down through the first couple of turns there. Luckily, we avoid Bottas. Apparently, Mark reckons that was a nice overtake there, but Bottas just broke a little bit earlier than I was expecting. The AI, if they're not trying to go for a move into that first corner, really seem to chicken out early on the brakes there, and we accidentally got ourselves to the outside of Bottas, but a little bit of a scary moment there. Don't want to crash into the back of my championship rival either. I'd just like to finish ahead of him. Right, well, after those shenanigans, Team One is in at the end of this lap. Hamilton has made a pretty decent recovery so far, picking off a lot of those slower cars, but you just get out of the slipstream, out of the DRS, and this thing has still got nothing at all. May as well use up all the battery as we head down in towards the final corner, but are we going to see any of the front runners into the pits as well there? Lap 12 is still quite early here at Monza to be boxing. Bottas stays out, in fact everyone else stays out, so we are going to be trying to go for an undercut apparently, just about get the car slowed down into the pit lane, and no one else into the pits apart from Lando Norris by the looks of it, so at least someone else. Yuki Tsunoda joins the pair of us as well. But yeah, apparently quite an early call then into the pit lane here. Are we going to be able to get a clean, tidy stop and put ourselves back out in a good position? 2.5 seconds is not brilliant. So we're going to re-emerge, I think, behind Charles Leclerc there. It's actually going to be behind the Aston Martin as well. Kevin Magnussen, as we try and now build up heat into the tyres. Again, Charles Leclerc a good 4 seconds clear by the time we got these tyres up to temperature, so that has really worked out well for Charles. He's on mediums though. I was going to say, is he going to box again? But we've seen Charles Leclerc nail some really odd strategies before on F1 22, and that might be the case again. There we go, Ricciardo, Verstappen both into the pit lane. I'm sure we'll see Valtteri Bottas join them in there as well as we try and close up to Kevin Magnussen, fully committed over that curbing on the exit of Ascari there. You just got to make sure you short shift up into 7th gear before you hit it, otherwise you are on a one-way trip to the gravel trap. Lewis Hamilton as well into the pit lane there. As you can see, Kevin Magnussen struggles to put the power down. Luckily we'll get some slipstream off the Aston Martin, but where are we going to re-emerge then in this Grand Prix? I think Bottas is heading out of the pit lane now, and we have certainly lost out as George Russell now just behind us. Going to have to send it on K-Mag in towards turn 1. The Dane, one of the feistiest racers in Formula 1, but we make the move work nonetheless, as yeah, Valtteri Bottas has somehow got the jump on Charles Leclerc as well, and we're 3 seconds back now behind the Flying Finn. That, unless they battle, is not going to be easy to overcome. Oh, this is what we want to see though. Bottas, Charles Leclerc both way off the racing line as they push down in towards Ascari. It looks like Bottas has come out on top in that situation, but really just want those two to fight a bit more. We can try and get back within the DRS range, as there we go. Guan Yu and Sergio Perez into the pit lane, so should be out still ahead of Zhou, but Perez I think will get the jump on myself, or stay in front even I should say, as we head back out the pit lane. How has Verstappen got such a big margin over Daniel Ricciardo as well? I'm not too sure he's done that one, and Sergio Perez might be able to get ahead of the Ferrari as well there, so it looks like Ferrari strategies are about where you'd expect him to be. Max Verstappen, of course, lost out P2 in the Drivers' Championship last weekend. Could immediately reclaim it once more. Oh, here we go. Bottas, Charles Leclerc again, side by side in towards the first corner. This is what we love to see at this stage of the day, as we got Leclerc and Perez fighting just in front of them. I mean, we've just got to play sensible. We've got to try and get to the end in the quickest fashion possible. Still got a very quick Merc just behind us. But this is what we love to see. 12 to go here from Monza. I mean, look at this, they're both 2 by 2 down in towards the Ascari chicane, and this time round Charles Leclerc a power move around the outside of the Flying Finn there, and we're going to get agonisingly close We might just be within inside the 1 second zone, but Bottas, of course, with the slipstream, will pull away once again. This is brilliant racing, though, between our previous 2 world champions, of course, in the My Team career mode. Charles Leclerc, remember, almost was a double world champion. Still, not sure how Ferrari managed that recovery towards the end of last year, but here goes Bottas once more to the outside of the Monegasque driver, who's going to be ahead when they get down in towards turn 1 there. There's nothing between them through the first turn. Charles Leclerc will try and hook it up around the outside. Bottas will give him the room, and Charles Leclerc says thank you very much. P4 remains the Ferraris. Well, I think at the moment we can pretty much say Max Verstappen has all but guaranteed this race victory here today, but for the first time in a while we're actually inside the DRS of another car, so there's still every opportunity. Anyone from 2nd down to 6th could finish P2 here if things went right for him. As a big wobble through the first corner, managed to correct the slide and point the car through turn 2, but we've just got to try and save some battery so then when we get in this fight we can really go for it. Oh, Perez under increasing pressure from Charles Leclerc and Valtteri Bottas as we head back down towards the first corner. There is just action lap after lap after lap at the moment, and we want to get involved there. Again, tiny bit of contact with Bottas through the first corner. No idea how we're avoiding front wing damage at the moment, but Perez now loses the place to Charles. He'll want to try and break free, as Bottas and I will want to try and capitalise. Seems like we've kind of got ourselves in a position now with 7 laps to go, and every car is just a tiny bit faster down the straights than the one behind them, and maybe the exception of Charles Leclerc, who looks for a move on his teammate Daniel Ricciardo. Bottas can't do anything on Perez. We can't do anything on Bottas, of course, because we've all just got the DRS there, as here goes Charles Leclerc then, trying to make a move on the Australian. I mean, if Ferrari were logical about this, which is a very little chance that's going to happen, they just let Charles Leclerc by, because he is on a quicker set of tyres still to the checkered flag in this one, but getting closer and closer to Bottas there. Slide the back end through turn 4. We almost looped it round. Here goes Charles Leclerc though as we head down the back straight. Daniel Ricciardo will get his elbows out. Who will come out on top in the Ferrari duel? It is Charles Leclerc this time round, and is that going to leave Ricciardo under a bit of pressure on the exit of the corner? This is exactly what we need. It's exactly what Charles Leclerc needs as well there, as there goes Perez one side of the Ferrari. Bottas almost makes it 3 wide, but thinks better of it through the final corner there. Pretty certain there's a bit of contact. Perez works his way around the outside of Ricciardo, so he loses 2 places in 4 corners, as Bottas now might be able to get a run on the Ferrari back down towards turn 1 there. Ricciardo trying to go defensive in his scarlet red car, but will Bottas be able to make anything happen? No. The flying Finn just sits back. We have got nowhere to go through that first corner, and suddenly now the battle might be between Ricciardo, Bottas and I, as we just can't do anything still. We are powerless at the moment. 5 laps to go. Bottas again forcing Ricciardo defensive in towards the first corner, but again Ricciardo will have enough, and again we've just got nowhere to go through that first corner, as Ricciardo seemingly just has enough in that Ferrari car. We've got yellow flags out. One of the Alfa Romeos, I think, again with issues here. They have not had a good home Grand Prix. Is that one of their cars retiring from the race, or is it just they've span out and are trying to recover? They're all Bottas, very, very slow through the next couple of corners. I think that's an Alfa Romeo retiring, but don't hold me to it. So there we go. Dan ticked him out of the Grand Prix. No safety car though. That could have really made things interesting, as I think I've just fired one of the buttons off my wheel. Oh! Bottas, huge slide there at 140 miles an hour through Ascari, and I was just thinking, I feel like the Finn is feeling the pressure more and more towards the end of this Grand Prix. We've got yellow flags out again. Someone else potentially with issues in front of us is Max Verstappen. The Dutchman, who has dominated so much of this Grand Prix, looks to be out of it with just 3 laps to go, and Red Bull's hopes and dreams is all going pear-shaped. What's going on? With just 3 to go here at Monza, we've somehow pulled off a move on Bottas after he wiggled around down the straight. Up into P4 now. Out of nowhere, Charles Leclerc into the lead of the Grand Prix, but poor Max Verstappen, he was absolutely dominating here at Monza, and with just 3 to go, he is out, and that surely is a hammer blow for his championship chances. With just 6 races to go, he's going to be at least 50 points back Ricciardo again just did exactly what Bottas did one lap prior, and I think that means now the Ferrari is not going to have any DRS either, so we are just picking off cars late on in the day, and this is absolutely falling into place for us at the moment. As we head out of the final corner, let's use plenty of battery as we head up towards the start-finish line. With a bit of luck, we can launch ourselves within range of Sergio Perez. Oh, we can't do anything though. We can't do anything because of the yellow flags. There we go, green flags. Back down towards turn 1, so we will send it on the Australian there, being very, very cheeky. I'm sure the stewards in real life would not look too fondly upon that one, but Charles Leclerc, less than 2 laps to go, after being out in Q2, could still be on for an Italian GP win. Tell you what, the gap to Sergio Perez is also coming down towards the end of this GP. 1 lap to go here from Monza, and it won't be the Ferrari car that started at the front. It'll be the Ferrari car that found themselves P8 on the grid, and once more, Ferrari's strategy, I mean, they're incredibly lucky it's paid off this weekend, but it looks like it will do exactly that. And they'll be able to get their first win in, I can't remember how long, to be honest, in this series. But can we try and get a lifeline and get closer to Sergio Perez here? I mean, a podium, even 3 laps ago, looked unlikely, but it's all fallen into place late on here at Monza. They're attack the curbs through the second chicane. They've got to be really careful through there, and I think that will put pay to any chance at P2. Let's just try and bring this one home. We just need to keep outscoring Valtteri Bottas, and that appears to be what we're going to be able to do once more today. We'll even give Ricciardo a bit of cheeky DRS to help defend himself from the flying fin there. But Charles Leclerc, he wins in Monza before. He's going to win again this weekend for Ferrari there. The Ferrari, absolute just darling for that organisation. Charles Leclerc, world champion, and he will come through the final corner. Charles Leclerc wins at Monza once more. Sergio Perez is going to come through for P2, and somehow we beat out our big title rival in Valtteri Bottas, and we also find ourselves on the podium. Love that from the Temple of Speed.
Top job, my friend, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you pulled through. Thank you very much.
Well, what a drive that was to take the win for Ferrari today. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think the key here was just the quality of the racecraft, you know. I mean, how many overtakes did they make overall? I'm sure we have a stat person keeping score somewhere, and it was fantastic to watch, wasn't it? This is a strategic sport at the end of the day, but it's always really gratifying to see close-fought battles on track. It's what all the fans are after.
Here come our winners now, a thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again. Despite the best efforts of our championship leader, that lead has taken a bit of a knock today. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Well, after an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless out there. Incredible stuff.
Let's move on to the Constructors. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. After an event like that, who knows what the sport has in store for us next time out? Be sure to join us once again as we continue to bring you all the excitement of Formula One.
Well, there we are then, the end of once more a crazy Italian GP. And, you know, we keep saying our target at the moment is just beat Bottas, and that's exactly what we've done. But Charles Leclerc gets the win for Ferrari. They're P7 and P8 were the top 2 at the end of the Grand Prix there. That just goes to show how crazy it can be here at Monza. We come through for P3 ahead of Daniel Ricciardo there. Bottas, George Russell, Zhou Guanyu, Latifi, Norris, and Oscar Piastri for AlphaTauri getting a point on the board there. Beat out Lewis Hamilton by less than a tenth of a second when they got to the checkered flag there. But poor old Max Verstappen, it really was dead set for him. I said with about 10 laps to go, it was his race in the bag, unless we got something crazy there, and a mechanical failure for him really did help us out there. It does mean championship-wise, though, it basically now a 2-horse race between myself and Valtteri Bottas. They're 34 points the gap still, though. There is a long, long way to go in this championship, and I mean, technically, you know, Verstappen only 2 race wins out, could still fight on to the end of the campaign there, but 6 races left. It is looking more and more like it is Bottas versus myself. There's Charles Leclerc and Sergio Perez tied now on 208 points apiece in at P4. Lando Norris actually re-jumps Lewis Hamilton in their tight little championship battle as Oscar Piastri, that is not his first point, sorry, of the year there. Nicholas Latifi up at a P15. He jumps a Haas and a Williams in his Mercedes there. Just how ridiculous Mercedes have kept him on for so long this season. Constructors-wise, though, the gap does come down. 86 points covering the top 3 there. We're just 30 behind McLaren, though, as we leave Europe there. I mean, Mercedes could be in this battle if they had a decent second driver, but George Russell pretty much carrying them to P5, and a very lonely P5 come the end of the year there. Thank you all so much for watching this video, though. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. We'll be back very, very soon at Singapore. On paper, it should be a track that really suits our car, but let's see if that comes to fruition. We'll return very, very soon with more F1 22 content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.